Okay. Um, Hello. If you're watching this video, it's because you want to find out more about Bandlab, one of the options for recording your podcast audio and doing your podcast project. Let me spit out my gum here. So I'm in my basement recording right now, using Zoom, and this is actually the first time that I've attempted to do this. This is take one. Wish me luck. So first things first, there are a bunch of different ways that you can record and compile the audio that will go into your podcast. Keeping in mind what the podcast project or any good audio storytelling contains, you have main vocal audio, the narrated voice, the script that you read. That's your primary layer. But then where it gets fun and where you go into that next level of audio storytelling is going to be the additional elements that make up sound. Number one, whenever you're recording audio, sometimes you make mistakes. You want to cut, you want to blend, you want to layer things. That's going to be something you can do in a service like Bandlab, which I'm going to show you in this video. Another thing you can do is adding sound effects or additional audio that you might capture yourself. So I think in class we talked about maybe you're recording something and you want to have the effect of a person walking in a cold wooded environment. You might actually go into space, into maybe some forest off in a trail, walk in leaves in your backyard with your phone and record that. And then you can incorporate that into a second layer of audio. A lot of really good podcasts as well, and we'll listen to some samples in class, contain what might be theme or mood based music. So keeping it pretty simple, you'd have your main vocal audio, what you're saying, and then a second layer that will add some kind of a floor or that will add some kind of that extra element. So it's not just you speaking a recorded take. So let's kind of look at Bandlab, which is something I've only recently discovered. It's pretty neat. So you go to, if you're interested to try this out, of course, you go to bandlab.com, which I already did. And that looks like this. Lots of options. It's pretty user friendly, music creation for all, lots of advertisement. You can actually download the app on your phone if you prefer that. It's accessible from any browser as well, which I really like. So it does a little bit of both. And it's not limited to Android or Apple. So it does both, which makes me really happy. I have not tried the app yet. I'm only going to show you the features here on the computer. So whenever you're ready, go to sign up. I always kind of default myself to signing up with a Google account. It's probably going to say I've already signed up with Google, but I would choose my school account, and it's going to really quickly and easily just make you a Google profile. So there you go. Just like that, I've already had a profile created for me. So this is, at first glance for me, this was kind of overwhelming. I think there's a lot to look at. Of course, just a random feed of people's music that has been made. You can follow people. I've really myself not explored much of this. But what I am drawn to when I look at this screen is at the top right, you see a big red create button. Obviously, that's going to be where you make a project. I see explore and I see library up top here. I've not done a lot of exploring or looking through the library myself, but let's just look here real quickly. So when you click explore, it'll take you to some other people like you who have been creating music projects and maybe not podcast projects. So lots that you can click through and you can get some ideas of music being created. If you go to library, this is going to be your library. This is going to be the things that you upload, the projects that you create, and the things that you do. Included in the library screen is going to be an upload option, which we might get to later. But the upload option, once you click that, is going to allow you to pull files straight from your computer, relevant audio files. So it's, of course, not going to pull anything else other than audio. So I don't know if I have an example that I could pull. Gosh, maybe I did some voiceover audio this summer, so I can go to some media and I could do, let me just show you an actual project that I did in class, a summer class that I did. So I'll do maybe not bad 4, whatever that is. I guess it's the 4th take. So I'll hit that, I'll hit open, and it takes a minute, of course, but I'm gonna label this DST, digital storytelling. summer VO voiceover. Genre, I can click on that if you want to. You don't have to, but I always prefer, doing as much work ahead of time labeling, especially when you have multiple audio tracks, because down the road it can all get pretty messy. I'm not going to mark it as explicit because it's not. I don't know what forkable is, but who knows what that is? We'll have to look into that later. Availability, you can set it to private, public, or unlisted. I kind of like unlisted because it's not listed in a search, but it is shareable very easily. And then you're going to go to advanced settings, and you can staple in a BPM for you musicians in class. Beats per minute is basically, if you have a music track, you can add the metadata, so you can tell the program what beat this track is set to whenever you load it into your program. Don't worry about that. If you're not sure about it, you can just ignore it. Obviously, a spoken word is not going to have a BPM necessarily. So we'll skip that. I hit save. And want to be discovered, our revision will be visible. I'm just going to change continue. So this takes a minute to kind of upload and get that ball rolling. And for me, especially, this is a pretty large file. So it is something to just kind of take a minute. Wi-Fi is faster at school. But in the meantime, I'll kind of give you a preview for the next step. So we have this audio that we've loaded in. This is a VO audio, a voiceover audio that I did this summer. Maybe I have other audio from my phone that I could share to Google Drive and then pull that in from Drive onto my computer, load up this way. All these things are going to be pretty easy with this program. And I would suggest the audio that you want definitely have in this library, because once we start the project, it's going to be really easy to just pull that in. So once it's done, it should be available, labeled as I wanted it to. So DST VO, DST Summer VO right there. So awesome. So let's go to create. I'm ready. I think I have my voiceover. I'm ready to see what I can do to build that up and make it sound really cool. So this is your brand new project screen. You can choose the type of track you want to do. Obviously my eyes are drawn to voice/mic, but if you want to, you can try some others just for fun. I'm going to go to voice/mic, and this is another way to do it. So what this is going to do, if you look here, it's going to set you up to record with whatever microphone is active. So if you're using your phone, it's going to be your phone microphone. If you're using your computer, it's going to default to your computer microphone. If you have a headset or something that you're going to plug in on your own, you might have to set it up in the settings to change which microphone that you're using. So if you're going to be doing that, ask me and we can kind of explore that option. But let's say I'm ready and I already have my audio and I want to pull it in. Let's find out how to do that. So first I can go to File, maybe Download, Tools. I got to try this out. I've actually not done this yet. I wonder how I could do that. Add track. Maybe I could go to, okay. So when I hit add track, I can choose from these options, right? I want to add a track that is my imported audio. So if I go to plus, import audio, I guess I can import audio from, my computer this way. This is another way to do it. So I'm going to go back to Not Bad For. I'm going to hit open. And there we go. So let's have a quick listen and see if we can hear my voice over here. Okay, so this is something that I recorded. I don't know how well that audio is coming in through this this recording, but let's kind of play with it. So this is kind of a quick little video that I did, and I'll show you all this in class. It's only about, gosh, let's see. If I go to the end, my timestamp here, 2 minutes and 5 seconds. So whenever I kind of scroll to the end of the track, I clicked on the cursor here. If I click to the very end of the track, it's exactly 2 minutes and 8 seconds. And I can look at that with my playback toolbar. So, there's a couple things that I want to show you, but before I get to that, let's have a look and kind of explore this program and see some of the features. So first things first, we have up here File, Edit, Tools, View, Settings, and Help. Each of these is something that I trust that you can kind of explore on your own. What I like about Bandlab is it keeps everything really simple. So I've been working in a recording studio here at Battle for 5 years now. It's been a long time. It's crazy. The time has traveled so much. There are audio programs that are a lot more sophisticated than this, that are a lot more complicated and confusing than this. I like that this keeps it really simple, and it's more user friendly than Audacity, which is why I'm showing it instead of Audacity. There are tools you can do like tuner, latency test. Don't worry about what that means. View is going to be basically changing the view. You can change your theme. So, if you prefer different, coloring, I like dark, kind of defaults to that for a reason, I think. Settings, you can change your setting. If you want, I'm going to unclick snap to grid. That's something that I don't like, and I might recommend you do that. Basically, it's going to be a lot more controllable that way. Enable multi-track recording, you might do if you want to record more than one microphone at a time. But again, otherwise, you don't really have to worry too much about this. One of the things that we're probably going to use the most is going to be slice. Slice at playhead. Or when we click, we'll be able to go to tools and we'll be able to kind of hit cut. So one of the things I want to show you when you're recording, let's say like in this recording, if I hit play, there's dead air. So nothing's happening right now, right? It's only right there. It's only right there that we start to see the audio. So a couple ways we can kind of trim off the beginning of the audio here. If you hover over this screen, you see my cursor changes shapes. If I click it, I can actually drag and it just gets rid of that audio. There you go. That's easy. Oops. And so now, whenever I hit play, it's going to only play at the beginning. So you want to click and you want to drag this music to your bar number 1, to the beginning of your track. So that way, when you hit play, it's going to play from the beginning. Okay, so there we go. Now let's say if I want to like cut a little bit from the middle, maybe I don't like. Maybe I think there's too much space here. I allowed too much dead air. And so there's a couple things we can do. First of all, I want to zoom in so I can have a closer look at this section. I want to cut out that dead space right there because I do not want that much dead space. So what I can do is I can click to the part that starts the dead air. And if I go to this toolbar up here, this little button right here is a cut tool or a slice at playhead. This bar right here, by the way, is called a playhead. So if I hit slice, if you notice, it makes a cut. And then if I click here and I drag over, I can go to the end of that playhead. I can hit slice at playhead again, hover over this spot that you want to get rid of, and just hit delete. There you go. And so let me show you what happens if I don't do any moving around. When I hit play, all that does is it gets rid of that dead air. And it doesn't really make effect. But if I want to change the time and shorten that dead air, same thing as before, I click this and I can drag left. So that it's a small little edit. I can make it a lot faster. So that's kind of a cool thing. One thing to note, we just kind of noticed it happen. This program sometimes defaults to this, it's called a loop. And so if you noticed, when I got to the point, when this thing is highlighted red, when I got to the point where it hit the end of the red, it snapped back to the beginning. Watch, I'll show you. So you went back to the beginning. So that's one thing I don't like about the default settings here. So I'm going to click and get rid of that loop. So now that that's not highlighted red, it just should play all the way through. So let's test that real quick. If I click underneath it, there's my playhead at 7 seconds. I'm going to hit space to play it, or I can hit the play button. There we go. Okay. All right. And then everything else is pretty good. I'm just rolling through. Whenever I record, I kind of want to go through and check. kind of have a look at those spots that might be dead air, like we did before. And you can cut and trim and splice over. Now, here's another situation. Let's say I get to a part of my recording and, ooh, I messed up. I don't like how I said one can laugh at. I want to record over that. So here's what I would do. I could go to a blank track, or if I don't want to have to record over myself like before, I can just go to add track. And I'll just add another voice mic track, and then I'm ready to record that. So when you're ready to record, I'm going to click on the track that I want to record, and I'm going to mute the other one. That's one thing to be aware of. So I'm going to mute the other one, otherwise I'll have to talk over myself. So I'm going to hit the M button to mute that, hover back over the voice mic. I'm going to hit the record button, and then I'm going to try to say, I'm going to remind myself, what do I say again? Hold on, I gotta unmute it. Okay, let's say I only want to record one can laugh at. So here we go. Here's my shot. I'm gonna mute the other take. I'm gonna hit record and wish me luck. Okay, so we're making discoveries here. I don't like that it changed my view right as I hit the record button. So that obviously doesn't work. So I'm gonna hit delete. I'm gonna undo. I don't like it. I don't want it to go back to the beginning. How can I prevent that? I did it again. I think it's because I have a count in. So let me fix that. I don't want it to count in. So I'm going to turn off count in. So over here on the metronome, one of the defaults of this program is it's going to count 4 before it records. Again, it defaults to 1 bar. I do not want that. I'm going to get rid of that. So let's see if that fixes that problem. Double check where we are. Okay, we're in the right place. Wish me luck. One can laugh at. Ooh, okay. So I forgot to mute the other take. So let's try that one more time. And here's the thing about audio and recording audio and learning new programs. You really got to take time and learn the program, and you're going to mess up a bunch. So I think I have it all set up to go now. I've clicked on this track. I muted the other track, and I'm ready to record. One can laugh at. All right. I think that works. And if you look, the waveform is what this is called. They kind of match. So one can laugh at. Okay, that's the one I just recorded. And so let's say I want to replace this audio up here with that audio I just recorded. One of the easiest ways is going to be to click and drag over the top. So that's going to interpose. But if I'm not too sure about that, I can edit undo, or I can come up here, hit undo. Another way to do that is to cut out this segment of audio in this take. Let me show you. I would cut the playhead there. Cut the playhead there. Delete. So what happens is, as both these mics are playing, it's gonna play back up here. It's gonna drop down, play back here, and then come back up to my original take. Let me show you. So not perfect, 2 different microphones. It's been 6 months between these recordings. My voice sounds different, but that's not bad. And so as you're going through and you're recording and you mess up, keep going, because what you'll be able to do is come back later and do what I just did, kind of cut out the bad stuff and record over with the good stuff. So that's voice recording. A couple of other things you can do up here. You can change the volume of your track. If you notice, when I click and drag over here, it also clicks and drags to the menu in the bottom right. So you can do it either direction, either place. Down here, you can add effects like reverb if you want. I don't know if I would recommend reverb for talkback. Let me show you what it does. Sounds like I'm in a cave. So I may not recommend doing that unless it's like for an intentional effect. Maybe there's a part of your audio that you do want to do that. So let's talk, while I'm on that subject, of vocal effects, or effects that you can add to your tracks. So if I click on a track, down here on the bottom left menu, you can see that you have FX effects. And it's going to allow you to add a bunch of different effects types. It's going to be recommended. There's going to be other, ones that you can add to or add based on what you need. I don't think for our purposes for this podcast project, at least for your voice, you may not need to do too much here. But one thing that you might do is to add equalization. And so there's one way to do it. You can go to recommended or you can go to tone. When you go to tone, probably one of the easiest one is EQ3M. So what that's going to do is kind of like in your car, it's going to allow you to adjust the lows, the mids, and the highs. So let me kind of play this back and I'll show you what these effects do. Okay, so let me boost the highs. Let me show you. There we go. So the lows, that's pretty obvious. Mids. So with these computer speakers, these laptop speakers or headphones, if you're doing it like I am, or even on your phones, they're good microphones. They're not great microphones. And so you might go through and equalize just a little bit. So that would be my number one most recommended effect. There are other equalizations, by the way. You can go to multi-filter if you're feeling pretty confident about what that may do. If not, play with it, try it, see what it does. You can go to graphic EQ, which is a little more options. It gives you, I think, 7 bands, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So instead of just low and mid and high, which is a 3-band EQ, EQ3M, a graphic EQ is going to allow you to adjust from lows to low mids, up to mids to mid highs to highs. So it'll also allow you an output level. That's what I would do if it were me. I think having the specific ability to adjust in this way would be my recommendation. If you want easy, go EQ3. If you want more control, go graphic EQ. Cool. So that is equalization for your audio track. And if you right click, it'll give you other options that you can do here as well. You might explore some of that. And play around. That's the number one thing. Play around with your audio. So last thing I want to show you, which is where the fun comes, and this is where I really want you all to explore with this program. Thank you for sticking around if you watch this whole video. I know this has been a bit long. We need to add some kind of secondary layer. You are expected to add something beyond just your voice. And so down here in this program, you are going to see drop a loop or audio MIDI file. Or you can go to Bandlab Studios down here, or don't worry about MIDI mappings. But let's try down here, Bandlab Studios. This website, this program, this tool, this app, whatever you want to call it, comes with a studio sound pack, basically free sounds. So lots to explore here. This is what I've not done a bunch of. There are sound packs that you can use for free. There are loops that you can use for free. And there are what's called a one-shot that you can use for free. I haven't looked at packs. I've looked a little bit at loops. So packs, I think, let's click play. Kind of a vibe. Okay, that's just a random one that I clicked. If I go up here, I can choose by genre. And I can choose by mood. So let's say I have a topic that I'm doing for my podcast. I'm doing the occult and it's dark. So these are all going to be dark-based packs. So play sample. When I click on it, this pack is going to have a bunch of different sounds that all go together. So let's just click the very top one and see what it does. I'm not liking that too much. That's a sample. Let me click another one. Not too sure about that one. These all sound kind of sci-fi. Maybe that one. But the reason why I'm showing you the pack is that these are all loops here. and you can tell it's a loop because you have this circle, which is a looping band of arrows. Down here, you have the one shots, and you're going to be able to tell that by the icon where it looks like just a single sound wave that decays off. So let me show you what these sound like, the one shots. So just one single sound, like a one shot snare. Okay. If you keep looking, one shot 808. Okay, it's long, but it's just one single. So anyway, I'm going to click a random one just for sake of example. And I like it, so I'm going to click on it. And what I do is I actually drag it over into a new file. Let's go ahead and transpose it to D major. That's what it's recommending. I'm going to set it to D major. So now what you have is that sound file, and it's only going to be a certain length. So if I look at this, it's only going to last for 4 seconds. So let me show you real quick what this would sound like. Okay, so a bit chaotic. Instead, I want that music to be quieter. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to drag down the volume of that music, that backing sample, and try again. So let's hear how this sounds. Okay, great. So let's say I want to actually make this into a loop, and I want to just have that play over and over and over again. What I can do is I can actually copy this. I can set my playhead to the end, and then I can hit paste, or I can do a command on my keyboard, which I'm going to do. Control V. So there we go. Now if I scroll back, if you look, it pastes and just it continues and extends it. So let's hear how that sounds real quick. I'm going to hit solo so I don't hear anything else. Okay, so you can kind of just copy and paste over and over and over again to just have that looping. So I just did it again, and there's my third copy and paste. You know, if you want to get into other effects, there are SFX. So let's say I get to a spooky part, or I get to a little break in my audio, and I want to throw this in just for an effect. I can very easily do that, and then it would add up a secondary layer. So I'm gonna, just for sake of example, I'm going to put the two together. I'm gonna unsolo everything. So I have my voice going, I have the sample going, and then I have that FX one shot going. Let's hear it. Just let's see if it works. Okay, so that's kind of neat. I don't know, it's not perfect. Maybe I moved some stuff around, but at least I'm giving a shot at it. If you want, you can go to packs, like I said, and it's going to give you lots of options to kind of play around. Or you can just go to loops, and it gives you all the loops together, all of them without being organized really in any particular way. But again, you can go to instrument, you can look at specific instruments. You can go over here and look by genre to get a feel. There's actually a film and soundtrack genre, which you might try, you know, and kind of look and see, you know, Germany might sound European. So maybe that fits a podcast that's taking place, you know, in London, England, 400 years ago in the late 1600s or in the early 1600s. So yeah, you know, just so many options here, and this is really fun, and I actually really like this program for student use because it just has so many options that are easy and manageable and very intuitive and user friendly. So that's pretty much an introduction to this program. I trust that a lot of you are pretty tech savvy, and you're probably going to discover things that I haven't yet discovered. So you know, play around, look at all of your options, look at the things that you can find, you know, and just if you find anything super cool, let us know, and we might be able to kind of go with you. So here's an example. I just found the editor, so I can do easier editing. So down here, whenever I clicked on my audio, my voiceover track, it's going to show up a larger editing menu down here at the bottom, and it'll maybe allow me to do finer edits, closer edits. So again, move that playhead. You have your tools up here that you can mess with. Cut tool is pretty much the #1 thing that you're going to want to do. So that's it for this. It does not save automatically, so please make sure you do save manually. And you need to be connected to the internet to do that. So I'm going to hit save real quick. I've done a lot, so it may take a minute. It is saving to their server. It is not saving to your laptop. So please know that. That is a good thing. It is one thing I like about it, because you can actually access this from multiple devices. You don't have to be on one computer. You don't have to share files that way. So that's a good thing, but it just takes time. It's a bit slower. The other thing is, when it comes time to share, let's say you're done. Let's say you've finished this project and you're ready to submit. You obviously need to do a few things. You need to retitle your project, title, take 2. Since it's the second time I've been playing with this. It's still taking a minute to save, as you can see. Once it's done, there we go. It's all saved up. I'm ready to publish. I want to actually do this. I want to share. I'm done. I'm going to submit it. I actually go here. I go to publish. I can add a description. I can add the genre. I can add it as unlisted, so you can't find it in the public. And I hit publish. It publishes to the web. It's unlisted, so when you search it, you won't find it. But now we have a published audio file. So what I can do is I can go to exit, and I have my finished project here. So this is what it would look like if I were totally done and I finished everything. From there, I can figure out a way to share it. So I can either download the file and upload it. We'll talk more about where we're going to host our final projects later. We're going to use something maybe called Podbean, because not everyone's going to use Bandlab. If you go to share, you can, I guess, share or embed the file by just simply sharing an internet link. So you have to copy. The easiest thing is probably going to be to copy and paste it to Schoology. So we'll kind of explore that, cross that bridge when we get to it. But I invite you to maybe try on your phone. Again, I'm going to probably do that tonight. Look at the App Store and see what we got. But again, long video here. Thank you for sticking with me. It's a cool program, lots to explore. Hopefully you find it to be pretty easy. And if you have questions, let me know.